What if I told you that in just a couple of years, our world as we know it could be forever changed? A cataclysmic solar storm, threatening to disrupt everything we rely on, from technology to power grids, could be heading our way by the year 2025. Stay tuned to find out more about this terrifying event that could change our lives forever. Welcome back to Mind Matters. Today we're talking about the sun's solar cycle, its impact on Earth during the infamous Carrington event, and the potential dangers it poses in the upcoming solar maximum of 2025. But first, let's understand what the solar cycle actually is. For every 11 years, the sun goes through a regular pattern of activity called the solar cycle. During this cycle, the sun experiences periods of intense activity, known as the solar maximum, as well as periods of relative calm, known as the solar minimum. The solar cycle begins with a period of low activity. During this phase, the sun has relatively few sunspots, which are cooler, darker areas on its surface. Solar flares and coronal mass ejections, CMEs, are also less frequent. As the cycle progresses, solar activity gradually increases. More sunspots appear on the sun's surface, and solar flares and CMEs become more common. The peak of the solar cycle is known as the solar maximum. During this phase, the sun is most active, with a higher number of sunspots and more frequent solar flares and CMEs. This increased activity can destroy power grids and satellite communications on Earth, and we are currently entering the solar maximum phase, which will peak by the year 2025. So do we need to start worrying from now? Well, to answer that, let's first look back at what happened last time such intense solar maximum occurred, the Carrington event. On the morning of September 1st, 1859, Richard Carrington, a 19th century British astronomer, observed an intense burst of white light emanating from a massive group of sunspots. Unbeknownst to him at the time, this was the onset of one of the most powerful solar storms ever recorded. Within hours, the solar flare unleashed a wave of charged particles and electromagnetic radiation towards Earth. As these charged particles collided with Earth's magnetosphere, they induced a geomagnetic storm of unprecedented proportions. The effects were felt worldwide. Telegraph systems, a cutting-edge technology of the era, went haywire. Operators received electrical shocks, and telegraph papers spontaneously caught fire. Some lines continued to operate even after they were disconnected from their power sources due to the energy induced in the wires. The spectacle of the northern lights, or auroras, usually limited to polar regions, was witnessed as far south as Cuba and Hawaii. Fast forward to the present day, we're standing on the verge of the next solar maximum, predicted to occur in 2025. Experts warn that with our increasing dependence on technology, this upcoming solar maximum could be far more destructive than anything we've ever experienced. Imagine a world without electricity for weeks, months, or even years. Our power grids could be crippled, communication systems could collapse, and satellite navigation systems could be rendered useless. It's a scary thought, but it's important to be prepared. In our next videos, we'll be exploring the potential impacts of the solar maximum in more detail, and discussing the measures we can take to protect ourselves from its destructive power. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos.